Hi, I'm Kate Richburg, Director of Education here at Beaducation.com, and here in my hand I have a tool that's going to help you make rivets perfectly every time, and I'm going to teach you how to use it. Here's the Crafted Findings riveting tool. It's a pretty easy tool to use with just a little bit of simple instruction, and it makes really nice rivets on your finished pieces. So to get started, I have two blanks here that I'm going to rivet together. These blanks are 24 gauge, and I'm going to put a hole in both of these to rivet them together, and you'll see that in just a moment. You're going to get a variety of rivets that come with this tool, and they all come in different lengths and different metals. You're going to get some that are copper, some that are aluminum, and some that are brass. I'm going to be using this middle size here, and you can see this is the medium-sized rivet. That sized rivet is perfect for the two 24 gauge blanks stacked on top of each other. If you're just doing a decorative rivet or doing something that's thinner, you might want to use the smaller rivet. And if you're stacking a few more pieces together, or if they're thicker, this is the longest or large rivet here. If you're not quite sure which rivet to use, you can go ahead and measure that after you've made the holes in these blanks. And all you want to see is just a little bit of the metal sticking above the hole. And you'll see that when I insert this guy in to be riveted. So next, what we need to do is put a hole in both of these blanks. If you're familiar with using the screw down hole punch, this works in a really similar fashion. This riveting tool has the screw down hole punch side on one side and then the actual rivet setter here on the other. If for some reason these pieces wear out and break, you'd be able to replace those since they are replaceable. But they're pretty tough, so as long as you don't punch a hole through anything that's too thick, this is going to last you a good long time. So we're going to unscrew our hole punch side, and I've marked a hole with a Sharpie marker on my blank just so I have a guide. And you can see I screw the punch right down, and before I pop it through, I just double check on all sides to make sure the hole is where I want it to be. And then I simply screw this down until the stem pops through, and I could feel that give way and pop through. Once it's done that, I go ahead and back up, back out right on the little screw there. And there's my hole for my rivet. I'm going to repeat that a second time. Insert the blank, and you can see there's a lot of room here. So this is a larger blank here, and I still have plenty of room to fit it in here. Check the spacing or the placement. Give it a good twist, pop it through, and then back it up. And it'll pop right out. Okay, so now we have our two blanks ready to go. And I'm going to bring my rivet in. This, as you remember, is the medium-sized rivet. Now, these rivets have a front and a back, so I want the front of my rivet. This is what I want to be showing on the front of my piece. So this will be the back. You can see there's not much metal sticking above there. This is maybe about a 32nd of an inch. That's all the metal you need to form the rivet here on the back. So now this is the tricky part here. is actually getting the rivet and everything all lined up in this side of the tool. So we're using the second side of the tool. You might feel a little awkward, and I might look a little awkward doing this, but rest assured it's not too difficult. This is the rivet setting side of the tool, and if I turn it, and you can see right there up in the camera how you can see that there's like a little stem on the inside. That little stem is what needs to sit in the tube side of your rivet, and that's going to lock right in there. This is like a little pillow, this second side, and this is where the front part of the rivet rests during the riveting process. And it's nice and indented so that the rivet doesn't get smashed up. So I'm going to place the rivet right in that little pillow, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten down this side of the tool, and I'm not going too tight. I've just stopped just when I feel this little head engage, and I know that little tip is sitting right on the inside of this tube, and I give it a little tug to make sure that everything is in there properly. And I also check and see, you know, that the rivet is sitting nice and straight. It's really shiny, but you can kind of see it head on there. And this is when I feel it. I know it's caught right in there. So now we're just going to rivet. I go ahead and I'm going to turn. I'm going to try and give you a view of both sides here. But I'm going to turn and tighten. If you need to hang on to the blank a little bit while you're doing this to stabilize it, go ahead. And tighten it until it just feels tight. You don't want to over twist it, because then you're going to mark your metal and things aren't going to go so well for you. So once it's tight, you can see the stem. See how the stem has disappeared? Well, let's see what's happened to it. Let's back it up. And ta-da! Here we've got the little tube has collapsed out on itself to create the rivet on the back. And here's that beautiful rivet right on the front. Back. And front. A pretty simple tool to use, gives you a nice finished rivet on your pieces. This tool would be great to use on pieces, you know, that you don't particularly want to solder. Let's say that you want to rivet to pieces of thin plexiglass together, or thin plastic, or wood, or leather. All of those things will work with this tool, but I like it best on metal.